All right, and we are live. What is up, everybody? I know it's been a little bit, but a little bit of a change in content strategy because did a lot of short form stuff before did all these live streams, and that was taken off in a big way. And this one slowed the numbers down a little bit, but it's okay. I think we're gonna do like 2 live streams a week for the next month or so. See how that goes. But I have some crazy, like, high quality stuff coming out. I think this Friday, the first one. So with that said, real quick, before we get into these weird stories, I just want to say, if you guys want to connect in a deeper way and really get into some crazy content, I have this cool thing called Forbidden Book Society on our new Circles feature on Manect. You guys know Manect. You guys know and love the app Manect. So if you know Manect and want more content that kind of goes deeper on things like the Epstein list and a whole bunch of crazy, creepy stuff that Elon Musk might be up to, check out the Forbidden Book Society on Circles on Manect. And we are getting into some crazy stuff there. But with that said, let's get into the weird news stories of the week, because there is a lot of crazy stuff going on. So first, they're just openly talking about right now that, what is it, USAID is being told by like its higher ups to burn and shred classified documents. So this is a doozy. So I'm just going to show you a quote from, what is it, Erica Carr, the agency's acting executive secretary, said, shred as many documents first and reserve the burn bags for when the shredder becomes unavailable or needs a break. That's what the executive, the executive president or the executive secretary emailed to some of the employees there. So that was leaked to the press, and I don't know why this place is still even like operating, because we saw the crazy stuff they were doing. Everybody was mind blown by it. And then what the hell could they be burning? Like, how much worse could it be than the stuff we've seen already? And then why are they allowed to be there still? Like, why is and it's literally places that we know they were funding. Like, Politico's talking about this. AP News is talking about this. So why is Trump tolerating this? Why are people still allowed in that building? Like, we're hearing all this talk about how like they're defunding it, they're taking the sign off the building, but we're still letting them go there and destroy evidence. I mean, it's like it's like the remember in November there's literally a truck outside the Department of Justice that said the shredding company on it. So the shredding company outside the Department of Justice. So, I mean, yeah, first, like, what the hell are they deleting? And then why is Trump tolerating it? Like, there's a whole bunch of things I'm wondering why is Trump tolerating it? Like, I don't know, like, the way that people are coming after him, I think he should have come down like a lightning bolt on these people. And like, he's really taking a slow approach. Like, he knocked them back on their heels and he's letting them gain their balance now and like regroup and reassess and gather strength. Like, I mean, you've read The Art of War. I'm assuming most of you guys have read The Art of War. It says, what is it? Like, lie in the weeds and then wait until the opportunity comes and then strike like a thunderbolt. Like, so fast, furious, heavy. Like, when you have the power on your side, strike like a lightning bolt. And I mean, like, whether it's the assassination attempt against him, the Comey stuff, like Comey was supposed to be arrested for the stuff that he did, setting up a honeypot, like John Brennan, all the things that we know he did, like the Epstein files, the JFK files, like there's a whole lot of speaking going on, but the follow through, not exactly there in a lot of these things. Like, I mean, am I being unreasonable here? Seriously, am I being unreasonable? Because like the stuff he's saying, great, awesome. But the follow through, like it's nothing without the follow through. What do you think? Am I being overly dramatic here? Law 15 and 48 laws of power. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, TFG. Crush your enemy entirely. He's letting his enemy sit idly by and plot and plan against him. Like, I do not think for 1 second that he's safe, that he, like, as much as all these big tech guys are on his side and people are acting like it's normal now. No, there's like a serious group of people that are just thinking every single day about how to take him down. Yes, we better see much fall through the next year or two. Otherwise, the whole thing's a sham. No, I know. And I mean, I'd say don't even give it a year. Like, first 90 days. Come on. Please release the book list on your show so people like me who are too poor for circles can read along. I won't get to talk about the books or have any friends, but I can still learn. SP. How about this? So I'm going to put my email in the chat and I'll make you guys a deal. Like, people have been calling me crazy for this, but I will, like, so we don't have like the feature in it to do like a free month trial yet. I wish we did, but I'm willing to give you guys the dollar amount that it costs per month for the first month, so you can check it out and then opt out if you don't like it, because I'm that confident that you will like it. So I'm going to put my personal email in the chat here and send me an email and we'll get something figured out. I'll Venmo you, Cash App you the 1 month dollar amount. You check it out. So on the house. Steph, what's up? Let me see. I'm just typing in my email address here. BACETO2195 at gmail.com. So here you go. This is my email. Send me an email if you're interested in joining circles, but money's tight. I get it. I want you to have the opportunity to check it out. So email me that. I will send you the money to basically give you a month free. Want you to check it out. Then opt out if you don't like it or you don't think it's worth it. I'm trying to basically so when I got out of college, like, I learned exponentially more than I learned in college. It's actually hilarious. And just by a matter of reading several dozen books. And then, like, in college, like, literally just wasted my time and potential to learn. So I think that, like, the stuff I'm going to talk about is like more valuable than college. I mean, maybe that sounds like a crazy statement, but like the first 18 months of me being out of college, learned infinitely more than I learned during college, high school, grade school, everything. So that's what I'm trying to give to you guys. I mean, it's like, it's $25 a month. So I'll send you the freaking $25 a month and give you the free month. So hit me up, do subject circles or subject FPS. Yeah, do subject line circles so that I could see that you're emailing me about that. And yeah, I'll hook it up. Anyway, as we were saying, the paper shredding company. Yeah, Jan, I am. I'm giving out my email. So, like I said, hit me up if you are interested in circles but are hesitant to make a financial commitment, because I will subsidize it for you for the first month, because I'm that confident that you'll be enthralled by what goes down in circles, because I'm trying to make it the coolest group ever, like an intelligence network of smart people who could kind of be ahead of the curve with what's going on in the world. We're getting into some crazy stuff there. Yes, college is a scam. It is indeed. Kindle, audiobook, audible books, reading. 100% reading's a superpower. Reading is a superpower. Steph, what is up? What is up? It's not the same when you're in the belly of the beast. Okay, I know. All right. So anyway, let me go on with this. I mean, yeah, so there's nothing really to say aside, like, for the USAID thing, aside from it's insane. And I don't know why Trump is tolerating it. But I mean, so that's weird. It's cause for concern. But another thing that's bizarre that I saw is that Ready? So maybe I missed it, but yesterday at approximately March 10th at 9 p.m., Ukraine unleashes this massive drone strike on Moscow, like the biggest drone strike ever, apparently. Right? So that's at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, March 10th. Then at 2 p.m. the following day, Eastern Standard Time, March 11th, we get Rubio coming out saying, guys, guess what? We got a 30-day ceasefire agreement with Ukraine. So what the hell sense does that make, that Ukraine just bombards the shit out of Russia with a massive drone strike campaign in their capital city, and then within the same 24-hour period, they're agreeing to a ceasefire? And then to make things, let me read this thing quick. And then war has come, Ukraine. This is from the Moscow Times. War has come. Ukraine drone strike attack leaves Moscow suburbs shaken. Yes, I mean, they bombed the hell out of them. And then you get Rubio coming out saying that we have a 30-day ceasefire, right? Here's that one. And then, like, there's layers of craziness to this. So yeah, then hours later, Ukraine accepts deal, says Rubio. Will take this to the Russians. We've gone from this war is going to end to how this war is going to end. Walt told reporters so they're going to take the offer to the Russians now. So like, what kind of mood do you think the Russians are going to be in after they got their capital city bombed by a massive, by the biggest drone strike campaign ever? And how'd those drones even get by? Like, how's Ukraine still have the capacity to make drones? Here's a reason why they might be able to. Did you know we're still freaking sending weapons to Ukraine? With all the shit that Trump's talking. Look at this. Oh, wrong one. Look at this. U.S. arms flow to Ukraine once again. U.S. arms flow to Ukraine again as the Kremlin mulls a ceasefire proposal. So, what is this? Look. March 12th, yesterday, 8 p.m. U.S. arms deliveries to Ukraine resumed Wednesday, officials said, a day after Trump administration lifted the suspension of military aid for Kyiv in its fight against Russia's invasion, and officials awaited the Kremlin's response to a proposed 30-day ceasefire endorsed by Ukraine. Like, and then the drone strike isn't even something that was being covered in the U.S. news. So, you got Douglas McGregor on Tucker Carlson's show yesterday, who's been like probably the most legitimate source with this whole thing, like speaking the truth about it the whole time. Like, when people are overhyping how Ukraine's doing and downplaying how much Russia's demolishing them, he's saying like the total opposite of what the mainstream media is saying, and it turned out to be true a lot of the time. And he's saying that Russia is basically just sitting there waiting for Ukraine to stop. Like, Russia could steamroll Ukraine at any point in time if they wanted to. They're ready to end this thing whenever. So why are we simultaneously hearing that from a super credible source who's been right about all of this? And then from our side, we're hearing that we're waiting for the Russians to agree to the ceasefire. And then that's on the same day that we bomb the hell out of Russia's capital city and resume the flow of U.S. arms to Ukraine. So, like, what kind of mood do you think Russians are going to be in to settle this thing after they got bombed and then they see us giving weapons to Ukraine again? So, it makes me really wonder what the motives are, what's going through people's head. Is there anything even worth talking about in this? I mean, like, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Right? They could be spreading lies. There shouldn't be any strikes from Ukraine as of today. Yeah, but why did they do it right before? Like, did one event have anything to do with the other event? Like, did they just have to get like one last one out of the way? Or like, I mean, I don't know, just looking at it from like a motive standpoint. It's like, two kids fighting, like one of them, like the younger brother slaps the older brother in the face and then like runs to the parent. Like they slap Russia in the face, then go running to the US saying like, "Oh yeah, we're ready. We'll do a 30-day ceasefire. Let's just see what Russia says. Oh, by the way, can we get weapons back again? Because we're doing what you say." Like we all just overlooked the fact that they bombed the hell out of them. It's crazy. And like, did Trump even acknowledge it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I know Russia hasn't agreed to one. Louis says, I'm upset that we don't just end all AT. Yeah, I know. I like totally did not even think that we were still giving them stuff. Like this would probably end much more quickly if they didn't have the means to keep fighting. Like as much as Europe wants to yell and scream about, oh, don't worry, we're going to help them. What was it? England said like, yeah, we'll give them $1.6 billion over the next 80 years. Like, okay, Starmer, relax. Prague says, I heard the Ukrainian offensive was a total failure. I mean, even if like from what I heard, it like killed 3 people, it hit like a meat factory or something. But even if it was a total failure, like the intent was there. Like they sent a couple hundred drones. I think there was like 300 and something drones, and Russia knocked most of them out. But some of them got through and bombed parts of the city. So that's not just some casual thing. Like imagine like a drone fleet coming to the U.S. and like actual bombs penetrate through and get to DC. That's what this is like. It's crazy. And nobody was talking about it. Like literally, the only place I heard anybody talk about yesterday was on Tucker's interview with what the hell's his name, Douglas McGregor. Does Moscow Times have English newspaper? I mean that one wasn't English. Darby says, I can only hope that it is with great intent to follow the money and weapons to literally catch or track weapons and money. Yeah, Ukraine's like kind of like a black hole. I would not have high hopes for tracking that money. So again, yeah, the timeline. 9 p.m. March 10th, drone strike happens. Then 2 p.m. March 11th, the agreement happens. And then that same time frame, they start giving Ukraine aid back. Actually, let's see. When did then this is March 12th. So this is today. They start sending arms back to Ukraine. So yeah, within a 3-day period, it goes Ukraine drone strike on Russia Monday night. Ukraine agrees to 30-day ceasefire Tuesday afternoon. Then tonight, we resume the flow of arms to Ukraine again. Yeah, riddle me that. Riddle me that. Greg says it sometimes takes time to get the message to all the front lines. They're not all sitting by a payphone. LOL, can take a couple days for messages to get to all who are fighting. But I mean, if it's the biggest, like here, let's go back to the article. Like it was the biggest one that ever happened, I believe. So it's not like some small thing. If you guys want a non-Moscow newspaper, let's see, Ukraine drone strike Russia. Ukraine bombards Russia with largest drone barrage of the whole war. So ABC News. Ukraine launches major drone attack targeting Moscow, Russia says. Russia says it was hit by a massive drone attack ahead of crucial talks between U.S. and Ukraine. Three killed in biggest Ukraine drone attack on Moscow region. Yeah, so U.S. speak with Russia about Trump ceasefire deal today. Trump threatens sanctions if he doesn't agree to ceasefire. So, like, did Trump even acknowledge this drone strike by Ukraine? Like, if I was somebody, I'd be like, guys, what the hell are you doing? We're trying to end this freaking thing. Like, why are you going into an offensive position? I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird. That's why this that's why the thumbnail says weird news stories. It's, the unexplainable. Now, if you think it can't get more unexplainable than that, then you clearly have not heard the news. And where do you think I'm going with that? Well, somebody told Michelle Obama that it was a good idea to start a podcast. She must have caught wind of what Gavin Newsom was doing. So let's take a look at this.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
We started talking about this at the outset, why we're doing this show.
You know, post White House and writing the books and doing book tours, speaking at leadership conferences, things you do as a coach, you realize that what we have, even in our lack of resources, in our household growing up, we had people who would share their opinions, give us advice. We had mentors, and we were used to mentoring and being mentored. And I realize that a lot of people don't have that. They don't have a safe place to come sometimes,
Right.
where they feel comfortable being vulnerable and asking hard questions, or they
come
don't
on.
have people in their lives they trust. They
They
are
want to
their
trust
own
you?
wolves, or maybe they have contentious relationships where they're estranged from the people they could rely on. So a lot of people out there are looking for guidance. A lot of people have questions they want to know,
Oh, come
especially when
on.
they see somebody of note with a platform who, by every measure looks successful. The first question is, how'd you do this? Tell me more. So I can only access so many people through books or at tours or
Oh,
at,
come on.
limited leadership conferences. So I think this podcast, first and foremost, gives us an opportunity to hear from folks. We're going to be taking, questions from listeners who are going through some things and just need a little advice.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Great sales pitch. So, uh, just my opinion, but it seems super likely that all these book deals that former presidents and former first ladies get are just bought by a shit ton of NGO money once they come out. Because I mean, I've heard stuff before where like most of the books get like bought by the pallet, like in bulk. So they're not like individual sales. They just like giant bulk purchases. So it's like a money laundering mechanism, these books and these speeches. So I wonder how you could fake podcast success with NGO money. I don't know. Is there a market for Michelle Obama to say her thoughts and opinions? I mean, maybe if she did a a reveal podcast, like addressing the question, "Am I a man?" That would get a lot of views. But her thoughts and opinions, I don't know. Like, what is there? Like, what else is interesting about Michelle Obama aside from like the fact that a lot of people think that she's a man? Like the school lunches? Anything? I mean, give me something. Michelle may not appeal to you, but she's a voice in the black community. Oh, come on. Even after this past election, like she was saying crazy, offensive, condescending things. Like the black people I talked to say that they consider the Obamas like super condescending and offensive, and almost like they just like take the black community for granted. I'm sure her show growth will be totally organic. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Big Mike OnlyFans. Ew. Ugh. The scoop of the casual theft by elected officials was shockingly rampant, so much so that people just expect it now. Exactly. Exactly. What else I got? She was he and he was she. Oh no, she can. It cannot run for president. Her speech, that crazy speech, that was the remember the one where she was. It was like 2 weeks before the election, and she's like, "And all you wives out there who are afraid to tell your husband who you're voting for, just go sneak out and even lie to your husband if you have to." And shame him, shame your husband if your husband's going to vote for Trump. Like, she started saying all this super divisive stuff to like split up married couples, real sick, twisted stuff. And oh, you know what? I thought of another one. Not just are you a man? Is your marriage in distress? There's that rumor going around that Michelle and Barack might not be getting along so well. There's that picture of them on their anniversary where there's like the giant 8-foot table in between them and they don't look happy at all. And then like they're all their fake couples pictures where they look like they're just doing a photo op. There's that weird rumor about Barack and Jennifer Aniston. I don't know. That doesn't even look like her. Yeah, I know. Big Mike was a damn good linebacker in its day. I know. Yeah. Nothing. I don't think there's anything interesting there unless maybe those two questions. Are you a dude? Prove it. And are you getting divorced? Are you guys just like an arranged marriage at this point? Then I guess like, yeah, ask if you ever want to run for president. Dear God. So I don't know if we have any Ripple fans out there, XRP, but there's some stuff happening, some things and some stuff that are much more important than Michelle Obama. Give me a 1 in the chat if you guys are fans of XRP or know anything about XRP. Give me a 2 if you've no idea about it or just don't care about it. Because XRP is an interesting one. It has like a cult-like following, total cult-like following. And I mean, full transparency, not financial advice. This is the only crypto that I'm invested in right now because I just like the technology. I think that, I mean, unfortunately, the way that the world's heading, there is going to be massive CBDC adoption, and 98% of the central banks are working on one. A big percentage of them are actively rolling them out in their pilot programs. But I don't think that the central banks or the governments are capable of creating the technology needed to do things at scale like they want to do. So I think they're ultimately going to adopt one of the cryptos from the private sector or from the private market, whatever, because the private market always builds things better than the government can never build them. And I think that this lawsuit against Ripple XRP from the beginning was all about the potential of it, because I think they saw it as like definitely the biggest threat to the financial system, especially the SWIFT, and they wanted to get control of it. They wanted to kind of pin it down, get some make it lose some of its momentum. I mean, it was delisted from a lot of the exchanges for a while, and then like the fact that people went out of their way to still invest in it and buy it shows the dedication of the following that it has. But anyway, this lawsuit, it when the hell did it happen? I think it happened in like 2021, but it's wrapping up now. So The whole thing was that it was being considered a security, and they, said that it was fit the characteristics of a security, but wasn't trading as one. So they got the lawsuit for that. So let me run through this thing. SEC's case against Ripple is expected to conclude as soon as negotiations continue. Ripple's legal team seeking changes in a court ruling to avoid a $125 million fine. The years-long battle between the U.S. SEC and Ripple Labs is nearing a resolution as both sides negotiate the details of the August district court ruling. Fox Business journalist Eleanor Tourette reported Wednesday. Scoop alert. Two well-placed sources tell me that SEC Gov versus Ripple case is in the process of wrapping up and could be over soon. All right, so she says, my understanding is that the delay in reaching an agreement is due to Ripple's legal team negotiating more favorable terms. Okay. SEC has withdrawn numerous lawsuits against crypto companies over the past few weeks. This includes Coinbase, Gemini, Robinhood, Uniswap Labs, Kraken, and OpenSea. The securities watchdog and Consensus also reached an agreement to dismiss the securities enforcement case concerning MetaMask. As for Binance, the crypto firm and the SEC filed a joint motion to pause their ongoing litigation for 60 days. The regulator also paused its civil fraud lawsuit against Justin Sun, who both sides reported. Yep. Okay, got it. Our SEC Ripple case remains unresolved. Settlements talk delayed. Blah, blah, blah. So let me just give a quick rundown of what's happened here. We'll grok it to be accurate. And if you don't know what the SWIFT is, so the SWIFT is a pretty crazy thing. The SWIFT process is like a couple quadrillion dollars worth of transactions per year. It's basically the international financial system. And it's super antiquated. It was created in like the 1950s or something. And what is it? It's the way that like U.S. banks or U.S. large institutions will send money to institutions in Europe or China, wherever overseas. And it's like basically like a messaging app, like you send the transaction via message, and then they just change the accounting books. And like the banking system is so flimsy, crazy the way they do things. It's like it works, but it's whack. It's so whack. Here, let me change my screen so I could show you the full rundown of this. Stop share. Here we go. Let's get some grok info. All right, so here is what happened. All right. So in 2020, SEC alleged that Ripple raised over $1.3 billion through the sale of XRP, which it claimed was an unregistered security, violating Section 5 of the Securities Act of 1933, which was put in place by Joe Kennedy, JFK's dad. Savage. According to the SEC, Ripple began selling XRP in 2013 without filing a registration statement, a requirement for securities offerings. The agency argued that XRP was an investment contract under the Howley test, a legal standard used to determine if an asset is a security as buyers expected profits from Ripple's efforts. The SEC also claimed that Larson and Garlinghouse, the CEO, personally profited, making approximately $600 million from unregistered XRP sales. In Ripple's defense, Ripple countered that XRP is a digital currency, not a security, and thus not subject to SEC registration requirements. They emphasized XRP's utility in facilitating cross-border payments rather than functioning as an investment vehicle. Ripple accused the SEC of regulatory overreach and pointed to the inconsistencies in the agency's approach, citing internal SEC discussions, e.g. the Hinman emails, where officials previously suggested that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum were not securities. So why did they zero in on XRP? So let's ask this. Deep search is pretty crazy on Grok, by the way, if you haven't checked out. Why did the SEC target Ripple? Was this the only company charged with this accusation? Just put the only crypto company. All right. Now deep search takes a little bit longer, but it's like 4 times as good. Let's see what the chat is saying while this formulates. How many XRP guys we got in here? Damn, CDAWay. Was it CDAWay? CDAWay is a savage. He goes right for it. Wait. Okay, Logan. So are you saying you say you prefer Michelle over Jasmine Crockett, ratchet ass? Are you saying like sexually or as like a president? Because yeah, Jasmine Crockett's a psycho idiot, but she's not bad looking. Crockett's not bad looking. Michelle is actually gross looking. So just asking, do you mean from an attraction standpoint or you mean from like a politician standpoint? Because yeah, from a politician standpoint, Crockett might be the craziest one out there now. Candace and inflection in her voice usually sounds sincere. Oh, cadence and inflection in her voice usually sounds sincere. Who are you talking about? I know, Steph. She is a large lady. All right. So why the SEC targeted Ripple? The SEC took action against Ripple because it believed the company was selling cryptocurrency, blah, blah, blah. We saw that. Were other crypto companies charged? No, Ripple wasn't the only one. Other companies such as Keek, Tokenbox, LBRY have been charged by the SEC for selling unregistered securities to exchange. These cases show a broader enforcement trend. Okay. So why didn't companies like Ethereum or Cardano or Solana get charged? Why didn't this happen to Ethereum, Cardano, or Solana? So maybe they'll say that these companies actually filed. What was that top one that said? Way at the beginning. Razor violating blah blah blah. So it said they had to file something. Come on. Let's see, Control F file. There's probably an infinite amount of files in here. And here we go. Come on, where is it? Am I going crazy? I know I said before that. Nope, don't restart now. I know I said before that I read that they didn't file the right paperwork or something. Whatever, let's see what it said. See, so why? Huh? So Cardano is labeled as a security. Solana is labeled as a security. Ethereum not labeled as a security. That's interesting. Reason for no direct pursuit. Direct sales to U.S. investors and centralized control. Oh, wait. Wrong one. Non-U.S. jurisdiction for Cardano. Different sales structure. Possible strategic prioritization. Sales scale. So, I don't know. My instinct tells me maybe that's the one they saw as most threatening. Like that if they really got big and people took it seriously, they could dethrone the dollar or dethrone the banking financial system, because it was the best setup to do that. And you saw which ones Trump mentioned in his tweet when he came out and said that we were building a crypto reserve. He said the other day, he said we're going to build it with XRP, Solana, and I think he said Cardano. I think he said those three. And then he threw in a mercy tweet saying, yeah, and I love Bitcoin, Ethereum as well, because people probably got mad at him for not mentioning those ones. But I don't know. Best thing about Bitcoin, it's I guess a store of value and like the most decentralized, even though I seem to be the only one in the world sketched out about where it actually came from. Because like if you didn't know, it came out like 1 month after the freaking yeah, if you don't know, Bitcoin came out like 1 month after the freaking financial crisis in 2008, which I think it's kind of weird. Like right after the TARP program comes out, the Bitcoin comes out. So I mean, yeah, you can make the case. People saw, okay, we're going to print $700 billion to bail out the banks. Like, okay, we need a new currency. But at the same time, like, when do you ever see something where something really cool gets created and we never see the creator of it? Like, people's egos are way too big for that. And even if the person didn't want to be found, like, people find everything today. How do we not know who Satoshi is? I don't buy it. But a lot of people like it. It was first. It's most trusted. It's adopted by Larry Fink. And I mean, that's something I should mention too. Let's see. Larry Fink is warning everybody about crypto going down. This kind of ties into Fink warning crypto. I think he's trying to shake people out of the market. Let's see here. Here we go. I think he's trying to shake people out of the market because BlackRock last year in May, I believe, they already accumulated like, I think 1% of the entire Bitcoin market, like 1% of all the Bitcoin in existence, because they didn't buy the coin itself. They bought a bunch of mining companies. So I typed in Larry Fink warning crypto. 1 day ago, BlackRock CEO issues serious warning about amid $1 trillion Bitcoin and crypto price sell-off. BlackRock has this to say amid Bitcoin crypto markets $1 trillion sell-off. Let's see what he says. Let's see what Larry says. He hated this stuff a couple of years ago, and now he's all about it. What the hell is this freaking ad? No. Get out of here, ads. All right. Bitcoin crypto prices have moved sharply lower following stock markets as fears swirl. The Bitcoin price could be teetering on the verge of a major crash. The Bitcoin price dropped under 80,000 per Bitcoin, dragging down the wider crypto markets that now erased $1 trillion of value in just 1 month. Even as bullish traders bet on U.S. President Donald Trump, game changer. Now, as Elon Musk issues a surprise crypto price warning, the chief executive of the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, has warned Trump trade policies will stoke inflation, pouring cold water on the hopes that the Federal Reserve will cut rates in 2025. Okay. Quote, I think if we are all becoming a little more nationalistic, and if I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it does resonate with me that it's going to have an elevated inflation. BlackRock's Larry Fink told CERAWeek conference attendees, it was reported by Reuters. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs economists have upped their odds of a recession over the next 12 months from 15% to 20%, pointing to Trump's economic policies as the key risk. Gardini research economists have also raised their recession odds, increasing them from 20% to 35% due to Trump's 2.0 head-spinning barrage of executive orders, firings, and tariffs, blah, 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 blah. Last week, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the Fed is in no rush to cut rates, with the labor market still strong and inflation on a bumpy path towards its 2% goal. I hate that so much. They have a 2% goal. Like, just lock it in every year. You're going to lose 2% of the value of your money. So this is a funny thing, though, with this whole stock market narrative. I mean, I see kind of differently than what everybody else is saying. Like, everybody's saying this is because of the tariffs, but guys, we're talking about removing $1 trillion from our budget deficit. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, U.S. budget deficit. So here we go. This is where the problem lies. All right. So, yeah. All right. So you see that? All the red, that's how much more we spend than we actually have. So, like, for example, last year, the federal revenue that they collected in taxes was 5 trillion, but we spent 7 trillion. So that's a $2 trillion budget deficit, right? Elon comes and says, hey, I think we could shave about $1 trillion off of that. I think there's about $1 trillion going to waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay. So the price that comes at is that the price of everything is going to come down because that's money being taken out of the economy, right? Like all this right here, this has been propping up the market artificially. I mean, notice how it goes up exponentially right after 2008. So we've been propping up, delaying a big downturn in the market. Like that's the vast majority of what this is, because there's 4 things that contribute to the GDP. It's government spending, consumption, exports, and what is the last one? Foreign investment, right? So government spending, consumption, and those are the 2 bad ones, right? So Malay's doing a good job at this. He came in, they saw, all right, we're using the 2 bad ones right now. Government spending and consumption. That's what's propping up our GDP. We need to cut back on that and increase exports and increase foreign investment, meaning like other countries investing into your country, right? So we've been propping up our economy with government spending like crazy. And then obviously, like with consumption, like we're a consumer economy, like the consumption's the vast majority of what fuels our economy, and not only just our economy, but the world's economy. And that's why it's such a luxury and such a gift for other countries to have access to our markets. And that's why Trump is saying it's crazy that we don't put tariffs on countries and give to have them earn the right to have access to our markets, because we have to pay a price to have access to their markets. So why the hell do they have a free pass to get into our markets? Right. So the tariff thing, yeah, tariffs make things more expensive, but guys, like the way that this is what makes prices more expensive. Like they have the audacity to talk about inflation in regard to tariffs. What do you think this had as an impact? Like, are you kidding me? This is inflationary. This is where the $36 trillion $36 trillion deficit comes in. All this. So I don't want to hear about the tariffs. Like they say, oh, it's going to make things more expensive if you tariff things that are coming into the country. Yeah, but the point of it is to get businesses to want to build their company here, and we're going to bring higher paying jobs into America. Right? So if you bring higher paying jobs here and lower taxes with tariffs, then it's a net positive for us, but it's not something that happens overnight. And quite honestly, everybody's freaking out about the stock market going down. Let's see how much it went down. I think it went down like maybe 6-7% the other day. But let's see. What did it do this month? So it's down, 8% this month. So the funny thing about this is that, you look at 1 year, it's not that crazy. 5 years, not that crazy. I mean, not bad at all for 5 years. 5 years, it's up 100%. And keep in mind, the average increase, the S&P 500 by a year is 10%, 8 to 10%, right? So, like, we are so due for a recession. Like, so freaking due. Like, look at this little doop. That was almost the end of the world, almost the end of the financial world, according to people. This little boop right here. And then this is COVID, right? And then Trump, unfortunately, allows Larry Fink to deploy $3 trillion of Federal Reserve printed money. Well, not Federal Reserve printed money, but the Fed buys bonds from the U.S. Treasury, and then BlackRock gets to deploy that money to its own ETFs to prop up the stock market, because BlackRock owns most of the index funds. Super annoying. We can get into that in detail another day. And then this is when they started hiking rates. And then this is when they started talking about cutting rates, right? And then you don't need to know all that. But the thing is, did you know 10% of the population owns 90% of the stocks in the country? So it's actually not necessarily bad for the majority of people when the stock market goes down. It's actually a huge burden to the majority of the country when the stock market's ripping higher, because there's this thing called the wealth effect, where if stock prices and real estate prices are going up, and you're an like upper middle class person, or obviously if you're a rich person, your asset prices are going up, you feel richer, so you spend way more money. And when you spend a lot more money, the prices of everything goes up. So that squeezes the hell out of people who don't own stocks and don't own a house, right? Here, I got to show you a crazy chart, actually. Well, what do I type in? Wealth pyramid. This is wild. So you've probably seen this before. Here we go. This is visual capitalist is so badass with what they do. I said this is going to be a 30-minute stream. I love how we get into the weeds. I love it. Let's see. So what this chart shows is that here, number of global adults with less than $10,000 to their name, 52%. So half the people in the world have less than $10,000 to their name. Then 34% of people in the world have between $10,000 and $100,000 to their name. 12% have between 100,000 and a million. And this is what I'm talking about with that 10% that owns like 90% of the stock market. And then, there's 1.1% with over $1 million. And so if you look at the wealth pyramid, this is 50% of the population sharing this little blip right here. This is that 34%. That's between 10,000 and 100,000. Then this is that 12% that has between 100,000 and a million. And then this right here, 45.8% of the wealth in the world is held by 1% of people. Yep. And I mean, you say that's shitty and that's unfair, but I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I've heard the saying and I've looked it up. There's like, nobody knows where the origin of it comes from, but there's a saying that says if you divided all the money in the world and split it evenly, it would end up back in the same people's hands pretty quickly. All the money in the world equally, it would go back to the same people. Total wealth per capita is 34,000. This means that should all the wealth be... Nah, come on. Where's this quote? Reddit. And go for a Reddit source. Nope, this is not what I'm trying to go for. Let's go to Grok. Because I get fixated on these things. So, but this actually parlays nicely to the next topic. Bear with me for 1 second. There's a million directions we could go with this, though. Super interesting what we're talking about right now. Quote about... Here we go. There isn't a widely recognized for being, quote, blah, 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 but a sentiment often attributed to industrialist John T. Rockefeller comes close. He reportedly said something along the lines of, if you took all the money in the world and divided it up equally amongst everybody, it would soon be back in the same hands. So, this closet's concept thinkers like similar to concepts by thinkers like Vilfredo Pareto, whose 80-20 principle suggests wealth naturally concentrates over time due to human behavior and market dynamics. A modern take found yeah, okay, got it. So yeah, there are these rules like there's always like 1% of a group that has massive success. I mean, it's shitty when it's done corruptly and like when the government gets involved and kind of regulates competition out of it, because there's this tendency amongst like super successful rich people to try to like box everybody out of the competition so that they don't have to keep competing, so they could just kind of rest idly on top. Yeah, I think we're good with that. But good news though, good news. I think if you are annoyed with that, at least this is a possibility right here. Howard Lutnick is saying that they want to eliminate taxes for the middle class. If I can pull this up, which here we go. Boom. Here we go.
No tax on tips. How about no tax on overtime? How about no Social Security? How about all those things? These are the kind of thoughts that will change America. I know what his goal is. No tax for anybody who makes less than $150,000 a year. That's his goal.
So
And that's what I'm working for. How about no?
That's pretty good, right? So before we go on to the next thing, guys, again, if you want to get into the real crazy stuff, jump on Manect and go to the Forbidden Book Society in the new Circles feature right here. The one that's circled, you go on the Manect and make sure the app's updated, hit Circles, scroll down the list, you will see the Forbidden Book Society, and it is freaking awesome. We are doing some cool stuff in there. We got 7 badass people who joined already. Love you guys. And we're having a lot of fun. We're talking about a lot of cool stuff. Every night I drop a video. So right now we're going over the United States, or what's called One Nation Under Blackmail by Whitney Webb, because there's a whole lot of suspicious stuff. And it's not looking like these Epstein files are going to be released. And I've read these books a couple times already, but I'm going through it chapter by chapter, giving like a concise, to the point summary of each chapter, explaining like the important stuff, giving you the essentials so you can have a better understanding of why Trump is reluctant to release the Epstein files. So if that sounds like something that interests you, go to the Forbidden Book Society in Manect and Circles and give it a go. And like I said before, I put my email in here because if you are in a situation where you don't have a ton of extra cash, I will give you a free month and let you decide if you feel like it's worth it to you. Where'd my email go? I put my email in the chats here somewhere. I'll throw it up on the screen so you could email me and put the subject line as Circles. Where is this? Where is my email? Where is my email? So here we go. So hit me up there if you want a free month on Circles. I'll subsidize. I'll send you the money. Try it out for the month. And if you like it, stick around. If you don't like it, you have a free month in it, whatever. Anyway, on to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. Let's talk about so this one was unfortunate. Trump and Massie. What the hell? I'm really being tough on Trump today, man. So let's go with this. Trump really called out Massie the other day, and I did not like it. I did not think this was fair or cool. So Massie is a man of principles, and he's always been consistent. Like, Massie is probably like the least political guy out there. Like, he just has conviction in his beliefs and always votes that way. So Trump wants to pass this continuing resolution so that they could avoid a government shutdown because they can't agree on a budget bill yet. And Massie voted against it. Still passed, I think 217 to 213. But Massie was the only Republican who did not vote for the continuing resolution. And Trump comes out and says, Congressman Thomas Massie voted to delay the debt ceiling bill from the Biden administration to the Trump administration from September before the election to June after the election without getting anything for the horrendously stupid move when Republicans could have gotten everything they wanted. He additionally voted to delay the current budget disaster for the Biden administration to the Trump administration. I was running for office at the time, doing my thing, and when I heard about this, it was quite simply hard to believe. A catastrophic mistake. Now virtually every other vote, he's very simple no. He can't even approve a continuing resolution when he approved them many times during his career as congressman. Thomas Massie is a grandstander, and the great people of Kentucky are going to be watching a very interesting primary in the not too distant future. So Trump is basically saying that he is going to do everything in his power to get Massie out of his congressional seat. But Massie is a G in his congressional seat. And I mean, you saw his interview talk.
Basically got
some music there. Don't want the music. Thomas Massie, like, he's big on the debt ceiling. He hates giving money to other countries. He hates when the country goes further and further into debt. Like, he's the debt clock guy. And Trump didn't need to do this. He I don't know. He kind of looks like I don't know. It'd be stupid to say he looks like a bully here, but I like Massie. And Massie probably would vote for a lot of things that Trump would be in favor of. It's just when it comes to the debt, like, that's his hill he's dying on. Like, if you haven't seen it before, he literally built a debt clock that is synced up with our actual debt. Thomas Massie debt clock.
Some people have a pacemaker. I've got an anxiety maker. I wear it on my chest, and every time a colleague wants to talk to me, they have to look at the debt just spinning away. It goes to the Treasury's website every day to get the accurate number. So yes, this is the regime debt, probably not the actual debt, but it is Treasury's debt, and it's right in their face. The parliamentarian gave me some grief the other day for giving a speech on the floor of the House while wearing the debt clock. I would contend that this is just like a watch. I'm just measuring time in a different unit, but it increases just as certainly as time would increase, the national debt does. Hopefully, this instrument that I built will cause my colleagues to take some concern and then some action.
Yeah, how could you not love that? Seriously. How can you not love that? So, I mean, we can't let Trump off the hook here. He was like the pioneer in putting us in a pretty bad situation with the COVID spending. Like, let's not forget. Let's take a look at the M2 money supply. I know I'm being so hard on Trump today, but you can't call me biased. There's one thing you cannot call me is biased. Like, I'm not Benny Johnson. I'm not just going to suck off Trump every day. I think that'd be quite boring and useless if I did. I just try to hold power accountable. So, remember when we were freaking out about the TARP program in 2008? That's this little boop right here. And then during COVID, we go from 15 trillion M2 money supply to 18 trillion, right? That's that initial $3 trillion. Still Trump. Go up to, let's see. So we go up about 4 trillion before Trump's out. And then, yeah, Biden cranks up even more. But this is M2, so maybe this isn't even the best measurement. Maybe the debt's the best measurement. U.S. debt chart. Yeah, here we go. So here's the TARP program, right? And this is all QE. And then we go from 23 trillion. And just 5 years ago, we were 23 trillion instead of 36 trillion. Go from 23 to 26, right? And by the time he's out of office, we'll go from 23 to 27. Then Biden cranks up a notch, goes from 28 to 36. So there's one negative thing you can say about Trump was that he cranked up the debt a bit. And I mean, I don't know what you're going to say, like, oh, everything would have fallen apart because everything was shut down. Well, you shouldn't have let them shut everything down. You shouldn't have let them shut everything down. Like, that's crazy. I don't care what excuse you make. Like, shutting everything down and doing this probably killed more people than the disease. To be honest, like, think about like the trickle down impact of all this. Like, the vast majority of people who received stimulus payment are in a much worse situation now because they had a one-time payment but permanent inflation. So, like, how many homeless people, or how many more homeless people are there now than there was in 2020? A lot. Like, and everything correlates with this. Average home prices. There's one thing I like about the Fed. They have good charts. So look at this. In 2020, pre-pandemic, yeah, 2020 pre-pandemic, home prices are about $370 on average. And today, today $510 on average. Man, so that's what happens when you are careless about the debt. And yes, unfortunately, we're in the situation where we need to use debt to fund the government, but I don't like they're about to collect a bunch of tax money. Like, why do we need a deficit? And I'm sort of underwhelmed with the amount of money Doge has found so far. They said it's like 200 billion now they found in savings. But I guess you could say it's on pace to hit $1 trillion within the year, but it's going to get harder and harder and harder. Like, they should have been able to find a bunch of easy stuff. I don't know. I just think that's a bad, weak political position for Trump to take, to get mad at the anti-debt guy for being anti-debt, which he's been his entire career. Like, he's like the least partisan guy out there. He's the only one who has ever called out AIPAC, which is badass. But yeah, what, you want the guy to just like forego everything he's ever believed in? Like, what do you think he is, Mike Johnson? You ever hear the story about how Mike Johnson, his entire congressional career, was yelling and screaming about how bad the FISA warrant stuff was with the Patriot Act, how you could electronically surveil people and everything, and said that we need to repeal it. Then, coincidentally, like, by the stroke of God, when he becomes Speaker of the House, comes time to renew the stuff that the Patriot Act did. And I don't know what the hell somebody said to him, but just goes against everything he's ever said and says, like, oh, wow, actually, we need this in place and need to continue it and past it to keep it going. So, I don't know. I have a serious degree of respect for people who say something constantly, and that's their hill they're going to die on, and they continue to die on the hill. Like, it's kind of a low character thing to just suddenly switch up on everything you've ever said you believe in. But anyway, it's enough beating up on Trump for today. Let's beat up on. This is a quick one. This was ridiculous. The Breakfast Club is catching some serious heat because they said some real scumbag stuff today. So they're making fun of DJ Daniel, which is crazy.
Effective stunt.
It was so effective, right? But then you had people arguing, okay, this was race baiting. This little black boy shouldn't have been used as a prop. And I'm like, are y'all
He's black.
I don't, whatever. He's a person of color, obviously.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know his exact
African American.
ethnicity. But when I saw that,
his hair was nappy.
His hair was
Like
not
what?
nappy.
Like no, his hair was carved up because he had scars from his brain surgery because he had brain cancer.
At all. It wasn't. He was black.
The dad,
You
yeah.
think he was black?
His dad was black.
Yeah,
His
it
dad
was-
was holding him. I don't know if that was his dad, but yeah, it
Not
seemed
that
like
that
that was his
matters. I
dad.
just
father.
don't think little boy
Yeah,
is
he
black.
was
His
black.
hair wasn't
He's
nappy.
black.
I mean, it was patchy, but it wasn't nappy.
well, it was
Very effective.
So shitty, man. I mean, let's see what these people say.
I'm not gonna lie to you niggas. The Breakfast
Oh,
Club big
shit.
finish, but I think this just put the icing on the cake. How dare y'all niggas sit up?
Okay, too many of those. Too many of those. Oh. But anyway, yeah, like what are you talking about, dude? Like, yeah, perfect meme. Republicans hero, Democrat hero. Yeah, you stick up for that scumbag piece of shit, George Floyd, every single day, and then the Democrats sit with scowls on their face when this kid has happy moment. Then you got these scumbags in the Breakfast Club talking shit about him, making fun of him. Like, did you see the video where this kid was like getting made fun of and crying? Like, I can't believe how mean some of these people could be. Yeah, look, he said he has a giant scar on his head from the freaking surgery. What are you guys talking about? Shitty. All right. Enough of the heavy stuff. Let's pick on another country for a second. So you ever hear about this wacky idea that Saudi Arabia has about this this line city? So they're trying to build this 100-mile long, like literal like line in the desert because they're worried about being so dependent on oil because I think like 90% of their GDP comes from oil. And the dude MBS has been trying to diversify the country's GDP and try to make them like a tourist destination. And they thought it was a good idea to build this. Let's see if there's a quick visual of what they wanted to look like. Saudi line city. It's so stupid. Plan. All right, so this is a good one, I guess. Here, look at this quick. So I guess this is what it was. Like, look at that. Like a giant 100-mile strip of just city in the desert. Totally dependent on water, food being imported. I mean, I guess they get their electricity from their oil, but I mean, like, what a crazy idea. And wait till you see how, like, you thought that the California Railway was behind schedule and over budget. Like, that's peanuts compared to where this thing's at. Look how wild looking it is. So I guess this is what it was supposed to look like. Anyway, let's go back to the article. Here, Saudi Arabia's 100-mile skyscraper is turning into a disaster. Who could have seen this coming? Any rational person in the world? Let's see. Plans for 106-mile long pair of 1,600 square foot skyscrapers. The line, jeez. As the Wall Street Journal reports, capital expenditure estimates to build Neom, it's called Neom, to what officials call its end state by 2080. Wait a second. Wall Street Journal reports that the expected price of this is going to be $8.8 trillion and it's going to be done by 2080. So 8.8 trillion is 25 times the budget of Saudi Arabia. And even worse, an audit report reviewed by the newspaper found the officials were trying to fudge the numbers or hide evidence of the project's ballooning cost. The audit found evidence of deliberate manipulation of finances by certain members of management. It's a damning new development that highlights the grandiose and unrealistic goals set by Neom's main advocate, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Oh, man. Wait till you see who's involved. So according to Wall Street Journal, officials are trying to shield the royal from harsh realities as well. For instance, in an apparent attempt to make it appear as if Neom's ski resort had an internal rate of return that met some sky high expectations, officials hiked up the projected prices of staying at the yet-to-be-completed site. One boutique hiking hotel room, previously priced at $489, was readjusted to cost $1,800. An inventive glamping site shot up in price from an inventive glamping site shot up in price from $216 to $749 a night. These efforts were reportedly aided by McKinsey consultants hired by the project. What is that? Oh, man, things never go wrong when McKinsey's around. What happened? Officials tried to hide their manipulation of costs as an email revealed that Antoni Vives, who was put in charge of Neom's coastal resort called Shidalaha, told consultants that we must not proactively mention costs at all before a key meeting, per Wall Street Journal. So the plan is looking increasingly unlikely. Even schemes for a first piece of the skyscraper were revised from 10 miles to just 1.5 miles within the next decade. Poof. Man. Oh man. Wait, what did this say about McKinsey? Meanwhile, consulting firm McKinsey is making bank. According to Wall Street Journal, the company has earned more than $130 million a year for its services. I would love to be a fly on the wall when McKinsey's hearing this pitch and the logistics of it, and they're just trying to keep a straight face, like, yep, 100 miles desert, yep, yeah, we could do that. And there's like holding the laughter, and then when the let me show you MBS. So you got the CEO of McKinsey sitting across from MBS and a bunch of guys that look like this. He's like, yep, yes, Crown Prince, yep, we could do that. Yeah, of course, no problem. Yeah, well, that's why you came to us. When he leaves, they're all just burst out into laughing. Like, ultimate sucker right here for what McKinsey does. Like, tell them what they want to hear, charge them a shit ton of money, and if things go as bad as possible for the client, still doesn't matter. That's a sweet gig they got there. A real sweet gig consulting is. Selling your thoughts and experience. As a sweet gig. Well, it is almost 1 a.m. How many people are still with us? Wow, 123, guys. Thanks for staying up. You're awesome. Well, like I said before, sorry that I've been away from a bit. I've had to adjust strategy a bit because that I got away from the short form content a little bit and was doing this every night. It was one, hurting the numbers, two, hurting my ability to work out, which was a little bit making me less than optimal up here. So I'm scaling back the live streams to maybe 2 nights per week, and we're going to make them extra high quality because we don't want to sacrifice quality. Anyway, like I said, if you want more content that is not necessarily the current events and like trending topics or whatever, it's more focused and more rigorous and focused on one thing, then check out the Forbidden Book Society. I put the Connect link in the chat. It's pinned in there. Click the circles when you get into Connect, right? These are the steps, and then you'll scroll down the list and you'll see the Forbidden Book Society. Got 7 homies in there already. And like I said, if money's an issue, I'll give you a free month. If you hit me up, there's my email. Send me an email with subject line as circles. And I want to give you the opportunity, like I said, it's a new app, or not new app, but a new feature in the app. So we don't have the ability yet to offer a free month, but I want to offer the free month. So just hit me up if that is an issue, and we will get that squared away, because I want you to have the chance to see what we do there. And if you like it, then stay part of the fam. And if you don't like it, no problem. You got a free month. That said, much love. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, I will see you next time. Stay blessed.